Bob Kirk's question is next. Bob Kirk says, what is the best way to memorize your set?
It's probably one of the most important questions that you could ask as far as how it really affects you as a comedian. So let me try to give you the short version of this. If you're memorizing the words of your jokes by standing there and repeating the words over and over and over and over again, going, I'm preparing myself, okay? So we have to go into a little bit of a thing about how the mind and the brain works. If you do that, what I call repeating the words over and over and over again, it gets coded into an area of the brain called the Broca area of the brain, which is responsible for speech, responsible for the speech and internal self-talk speech. So the problem becomes, in order to retrieve just the words that you've gone over and over and over, okay? Not going to go deep into NLP and eye movements, but your eyes need to go down and to the left and talk those words. In other words, it's speech, okay? So you got to speak those words to yourself so that you then can speak them to the audience. And then you have to go back into internal self-talk, talk the next joke to yourself, and then say it to the audience. Now, this self-talk is very much like a soundproof room. When you go inside of it, you can't have a relationship with the audience. You can't do anything except completely concentrate and talk to yourself. So you won't know anything else that's going on. That's one of the problems, is people will do a joke. They'll go in to talk to themselves to get the next joke. The audience is laughing. They can't hear it. They come back out and they think they bombed. And then they say the next joke, and then they immediately disappear, go into the... So in my particular way of looking at this, and this is one of the things that I really put an emphasis on in my level 1 technique classes, and we practice in the level 2 classes, that's not the way I want you to rehearse. Because what you're remembering, what you're trying to do is remember what you're supposed to say next. The audience didn't come there the audience it's not interesting or funny to watch somebody remember correctly. They didn't come there. They're not going, he said a when instead of a because. Oh my God. No, they don't care. They want to hang out with somebody that's fun, not somebody who's trying to remember what they're supposed to say next. Okay, I know those are the jokes. So, well, let me tell you. Now, the answer. The answer is a little bit more complex, but the simple answer is take your joke, and I have a certain way I teach it, which is my rehearsal process, but the short answer to this is get up and act out the scene of the joke. See, I don't have to memorize, if there's you have a joke, for instance, my grandfather died a peaceful death. He died in his sleep. Of course, on the passengers on the bus he was driving were wide awake. Okay. Now, I'm saying I can memorize those words of that over and over and over again, or I can get up and act out him dying peacefully in his sleep at home, which is what the setup is misdirecting to. He died peacefully in sleep. Want the audience to think at home in his bed, maybe went to sleep and never woke up. Oh, that was peacefully in his sleep. Now, it's the setup in my head. Actually act out that. Okay, I mean, physically go out and act that out.
But I love what you just said. We remember things that actually happened to us, not clever things that could say that's funny. So Bob, you would have to make your rehearsal actually happen to you, so you can look at the picture and then just talk about what happened in the joke format, or keeping the integrity of the joke. So that is a practice. You get good at what you practice. You practice trying to memorize. That's what you do. But if you practice trying to make things happen to you and then perform them because they happen to you, that's another practice.
I don't have to die in a bus.
Yes, no, you do have to die in a bus.
Okay.
Yeah, Not dying on the
I didn't
bus.
get to finish talking about that, but okay, but that's what you would have to do is
Sorry.
fall asleep driving a bus and die peacefully in your sleep so that you would actually have a picture in your head, an experience in your head. So yes, you would have to do that.
And then Greg would say, okay, now stand up and look at you dead on the floor. Now evaluate it. And I'll go back and make sure it's your joke.